What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, I come at you with, unfortunately, a little bit of somber news in the fact that, of course, Lewis Miley, our breakout performer this season, our rising star, our young star boy, is now out injured, unfortunately, after picking up an injury while away on international duty with England's under-20s. Now, it's been talked about all last night by, of course, Sky Sports News, and a couple of other media outlets as well have already touched on this news. But I wanted to come on and talk about, of course, my thoughts on this news. Now, this is a really bad piece of news. He's only 17 years old, of course. He's been a breakout performer, like I've said, for us this season. He's impressed us with his skills, his work rate. He's, got a lot to show for such a young age at 17 years old. He's going to be an absolutely fantastic performer. He's already set the Champions League alight with games against the likes of PSG, Borussia Dortmund, etc. This season, so it's very sad to see this kind of news coming out. Hopefully it's not as bad as it seems, but the reports are suggesting that he will be out for several weeks, so he could possibly miss what is left of the season with only having 10 games left. But there is silver linings to this as well. I know not a lot of people will think that there will be, but there is silver linings to it as well. He will come back determined, stronger, and a bit more cautionary towards, getting injured again. He'll be willing to improve his game even more as well. So he'll come back as a much better player than what he was, when he got the injury. Of course, hopefully it's not as long of an injury as what we're seeing Elliot Anderson pick up, because his was also a back injury, and he's been out for a very long time. Of course, hopefully it's not as bad as that, and hopefully it doesn't, destroy the lad's momentum moving up forward. It will give him a slight setback in his development, but hopefully, it doesn't affect him for the future moving forward as a player in Newcastle United. Only time will tell what the full extent of the injury will impact the lad or not. But he is a fantastic talent, somebody that, we definitely are going to miss in that midfield, especially with the number of injuries that we do have in that area of the field and the number of injuries that we have in a whole this season. I mean, it just never seems to end. We'll get one player back and another player ends up injured. It just seems to be a, recurring theme with this season, that players are getting injured, when another player's coming back. So, it will pose a little bit of a problem forward, but hopefully, we will be able to come by this and, still get into them European spots for next season. And it does, of course, have another silver lining to it as well. It does allow for another youngster from, the reserves come up into the first team, get his chance in the spotlight. We've got plenty of brilliant youngsters down there. Maybe one of them could come in and fill that void that Lewis Miley will, of course, be leaving in the team. But we do wish Lewis Miley a speedy recovery, of course. Can't wait to see the lad return back to Newcastle in a black and white shirt and put on the performances like he has been doing this season. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think it'll affect the team as much as, a lot of the media outlets are saying? I personally do think it will affect with, because he is a fantastic player. He's an engine when he's playing for the team. He knows how to get around players, and he proved that with games against PSG, and Borussia Dortmund Champions League this season. He was absolutely fantastic in them games, and it's 17 years old, doing that is just absolutely amazing. Shows just how much of a world-class player he's going to be, in the future. We're never seeing the likes of Jude Bellingham do that when he was 17 years old, in my opinion. So, it just shows how much of a player Lewis Miley is going to be, going forward, because if you can do that against the likes of PSG at that age, then you are definitely going places. But like I say, we wish him a speedy recovery, and until next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all for the next one. However, lads.